Welcome everyone who's watching to a very special Blind Spot bonus. I'm Adam.
And I'm Josh.
And we have some very special guests with us here today. Oh, it looks like George is back. Let's see if we can get him back with us.
Can you hear us now, George?
Hey, I can hear you.
I can hear something coming from that way. He is on a boat.
Living his best life.
Hey man, it's Sunday. Get out there. I can appreciate that.
George, can you hear us?
Yes.
Hello.
Oh yeah, now we can hear you.
Hello.
All right, great. All right.
Very good. Welcome, as I was
Right.
saying to everybody, we have a very special episode for you today, very special interview. We have got some of the cast of Troll 2 here, and this being the 30th anniversary of Troll 2, the epic, quote-unquote, best worst movie, which I can get by that title. I really can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody say hello. We've got Deborah Reed with us today.
Woo-hoo.
We have Darren Ewing.
Hello.
And we have Jason Stedman,
Hello, hello.
George Hardy.
Hey. Hi, everybody. Hey, Deborah. I love you.
Hi, sweetheart.
Hey. Hey,
This is-
Jason. I know Darren. I've been working with Darren. So
Hey. Good to see you.
I'm out of
George-
my boat, so I hope I can hear y'all. I'm going to
That's
turn the
okay.
motor off.
I want to trade places with you, George. I want to be wherever you are right now.
Oh, yeah. I'm on Lake Martin, Alabama right now.
I figured it had to be Lake Martin. He loves
Yeah, you
Lake
guys
Martin.
have to come down and visit the lake.
Oh, we'd love to if we can ever get out of quarantine.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I'm going to get the rest of these crew down here. I'm going to get Deborah down here one of these days.
Oh,
Jason and Deborah, Jason and Darren have visited, but not Deborah. I'm going to drag Deborah down here. You two guys too, okay?
Oh, hey, that'd be fine.
sounds
I
like
can
that.
I can
Nice
spend the
visit.
day on the lake just as good as anybody.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Oh, great.
Well, Josh,
And
I
I
know this has got to
guarantee-
be a big deal for you,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, it is.
George does not piss on hospitality.
No, he does not. And he won't
It had to
allow
be
it
said.
I wouldn't dream
We'll
of it.
say it later, I'm sure.
So yeah, Josh, this has got to be a big deal for you, man. You've been a fan of this movie for a long time.
Like I said, since I was 8 years old, I was a fan of this movie. I discovered it, I think, on HBO is where I discovered it, like a lot of people, I think.
Well, unlike me, who discovered it through the internet, or at least knew of its existence through the internet, I actually had not seen the movie until about a week ago. That was the first time I ever watched it.
Wow.
And God, what an experience that was. To witness that for the first time, that was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
What were your initial thoughts, both of you?
Well, I went into it knowing that it was supposedly a really bad movie, one of those movies that's so bad it's good. And so I just embraced it, embraced the insanity from the get-go. You know, the weird synth techno music playing in the opening credits sequence that does not fit up, it does not match up with the time period at all.
Uh-huh.
And this is very out of place. And I love it. It's wonderful. It just, oh,
And as a kid, I loved everything about it. The fact that the main kid's name is Joshua. Even though I don't like the name Joshua, I prefer Josh. That means I'm getting in trouble when I hear that name. I still can relate. I didn't understand why there was goblins and called Troll. I didn't think about the score because as an 8-year-old kid, it's not something I was thinking about. But I just loved it. I'd watch it anytime it was on when I was at my dad's because I couldn't watch it at my mom's.
well, I mean, we just got done recording like an hour-long episode for our podcast talking about this film. So that'll be out in about a week. But we just want to hear stories from production. We want to hear, like, how did you guys end up on this set?
I was like, George, I want to know, as a dentist in Alabama, what were you doing in Utah in the first place?
Oh, no, I was living out there. Yeah, so I was there. I moved to Salt Lake in 81 and stayed there almost till 90,
Right.
91, 10 years. I was in
Yeah.
Salt Lake. Yeah.
Yeah, I read that online that some of your patients actually encouraged you to go to auditions for this film.
Yeah. I had friends that I worked with, and I was teaching exercise classes back in the 80s, and and So they go and audition, and so I did, and that's how I got to meet these 3 other beautiful people here.
It worked out.
It worked wonderfully. Did any of you ever think that this film would reach the cult status that it has to this day?
No, not at all.
Were any of you there on set going, "What am I doing with my life?"
Kinda, yeah.
Oh man!
So like, were you guys like? I've read that everybody was going for roles as extras, and got the lead roles. Is that true? Or were you actually going for these roles?
No, I was.
I read for Arnold.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I read for Drew. In fact, my audition was the scene in the drugstore with the drugstore owner. That was my audition scene, and I just remember thinking that was like so freaking bizarre. The whole experience was so bizarre, but then they called me the next day. They're like, "You got it." Like,
Oh, that didn't take long.
I was like, "You mean you got a call back?" They're like, "No, you got it."
Wow! They liked you that much.
It's a done deal.
There were no callbacks.
No callbacks. Deborah, did you read for the part of
Run and
Credence?
gun.
Yes, I read for the part of Credence. First of all, I assume you were all in the same cattle call up in Park City in that huge hotel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there were like thousands of people. We went in and there were people just sitting down, all, lining all the hallways and the walls. I mean, it was huge. And so when I went in, there were like 5 Italians, and I could hardly understand what they were saying, but they told me to read some of my most, I guess, known lines, just screaming out into the camera. And so I just gave it all of my campy gusto that I could and had fun with it. And voila.
And it worked. My goodness, did it work?
Yes, it did.
Every one of you.
It was pretty funny. It was fun.
And your son was in the movie as well, right, Deborah?
He was. He's the boy that you see in the trailer, my son Gavin. And our agency, I guess, sent us both. I don't know if the directors looked, through the books. I think they did, as I recall. They looked through the books and chose, the agency books and chose pictures of who they wanted to come. And this was multiple agencies, I think, in town. I was with McCarty Agency. And so we were both chosen. And within a few days, they didn't know that we were mother and son, is what's really interesting. And out of all those thousands of people, we both got parts. But anyway, Gavin is the one that throws the baseball in, in the trailer.
Right.
And, he told me later that Claudio said, "You make good faces," because, and if you watch that in the scene, where the preacher is, has that gooey green stuff, and the whole, little crowd, the Nilbog crowd, they're all making horrible faces and groaning.
That was a great scene. Oh, that was such
Yeah,
a
that was it. Yep. And he was a great preacher. He was very. I thought he did a good job.
All right, we have a question from Dangerous Person. What is the one prop that you would have liked to keep from the movie?
Wow.
Was there a prop that any of you would have liked to have kept from the movie? That's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, I remember. Oh. Well, okay. I remember the first day walking in, and I had no idea really what this, after reading the script, I realized it was pretty goofy. But I remember walking in and seeing these boxes in the makeup room and all these little goblin heads, these faces. And I thought, oh my gosh.
What have I gotten myself into?
I would love to touch one of those, I think.
I think I would like my.
They let me keep my makeup appliances.
Oh, they did?
Oh, did they?
But
Like the thing they had growing on your face?
Yeah.
Oh.
They actually I kept them because they use rubber cement to glue it to me. So I went home and spent all night with a bottle of acetone trying to get
Right.
the stuff off of my legs and arms. So I kept the appliances.
That's how you earn that.
Yes,
You earned that.
yes, you earned
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
In our review, he
that
mentioned
that and $100 a day. Showbiz. Yeah.
in our review, he mentioned that you spent 14 hours in that pot. Is that true? Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah, that's true.
That was a long
and
day.
it was we were supposed to keep shooting the next day, but and I was trying to be a trooper. They eventually brought a stool and put it behind me, and they brought in like a fruit shake and put a straw in my mouth so I could get some sustenance. But about the time that Deborah pulls out that chainsaw, I was about ready to pass out. I was just like, hey, guys, can we get this shot? Because I was about to pass out.
Oh my goodness. Jason, what about you?
I think I would want my yellow shirt that they lost back.
Oh, your yellow shirt. They lost your yellow shirt.
If you've seen the documentary, I talk about it in the documentary, but the yellow shirt I was wearing initially was my shirt.
Right.
And it had a logo on it and a logo on the back. And so you'll see that in parts of the movie, it's got the logo on it, and in other parts, it doesn't because they lost it.
Oh, no.
Me go buy a yellow shirt,
They made you buy your own shirt?
I was just like, isn't there like a wardrobe or something? But no. So I drove to the little town where we were in Morgan, Utah, in this little store and bought a yellow shirt. So I would kind of like my yellow shirt back.
We're all out of yellow shirts.
Yeah, we're all like, we need to make a yellow cinematic blind spot shirt and send it.
And so many teenage boys wear yellow shirts and orange shorts. I look like a sugar ice cream cone.
I was filming in the 80s. I think it was common.
Yeah, that's true.
So George, what about you? What one prop would you have liked to have kept?
Well, it's funny that Jason said that. It's my striped shirt. I just love that striped shirt. I wish I could find that. There's 2 striped shirts that I wore in the movie. One was blue and red striped and yellow with it, and then the other was blue and white striped. Yeah, and I wish I had those shirts. That blue and white striped shirt was my shirt. And I think they were both my shirts too.
Those were ultimate dad shirts.
Yes, yes, they were.
God, I love those shirts. I wish I could find them again.
That's
if I
great.
could find those shirts, I've even looked for them on Amazon, or eBay or something.
If somebody released them and put like a special edition Troll 2 shirt on them, they'd probably sell like crazy.
Yeah.
That may be a good idea.
Absolutely. And I got to say, in the documentary, I love the shirt that you guys wear that has Goblin on the front and Nilbog on the back, the green shirt. I want that shirt. That is the shirt.
Somebody call Fright Rags and give them an idea.
Well, actually, speaking of that, Devin Whitehead, who works for Cavity Colors, has made a great Troll 2 design. I want to say for the soundtrack on vinyl or something, but Cavity Colors can't get the rights because I want that design on the shirt.
Oh, man.
Vinyl?
There's been a lot of T-shirts that a lot of people have put out there, though, that are Troll 2 related, and and as well as music and all kinds of things. It's been really fun to see through the years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And tattoos, a lot of Troll 2 tattoos.
Yes, I have not watched the documentary yet, but he was telling me about the guy getting the poster, the monster from the poster that's not even in the movie, getting that tattooed on him.
Yeah.
And that's not the worst idea for a tattoo I've ever
Because
seen.
George says, normally I don't like tattoos. And the guy's like, well, I don't like dentists. I love that.
That was in Best Dressed Movie. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That is great.
As far as costumes go, their wardrobe lady took me into Salt Lake City and to some costume shops to find a costume, and everything we saw, I said, "Oh, this just doesn't work. I don't like this." And doing different, theater and writing my own things and doing camp all my life, nothing really, hit the bill. So I said, you know what? I'll come up with my own costume. And so I did get to keep mine because it was all mine. And I used my grandmother's, that beautiful velvet coat with the ermine collar. Ended up, though, with green in the silk lining, was all splattered with green in the end, but it's kind of fun to have that anyway.
I did read somewhere that like all the jewelry you were wearing in the film was actually like heirloom jewelry that was in your family.
That was all mostly mine. They added like one little black bracelet and a few things, and but yes, it was all mine. My grandmother's, yeah. So isn't that fun? Even that kind of Inca necklace or neck piece that I was wearing, yeah, that was all mine. So
Another question.
yeah, fun.
Oh, okay. We have another question from Dangerous Person. If there was a remake of Troll 2 made today, who do you think would be cast as your roles?
No, I say remake the movie and then put you all back in it again. I mean, that's the perfect way to do it. I'll let you answer. That's my answer.
Who would be casting?
Who should play? Who would you want to play our characters?
Who would you want to play Arnold, or who would you want to play Drew, or Farmer?
I gotta go with Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton.
Love it. Love that answer.
That is a great answer. I would watch the hell out of that.
I would like to see Tilda Swinton tackle that line and make it not sound shitty the way that I did. I would like that.
That would be amazing.
Ooh,
Jason, what about you?
Maybe what's his name? Timothy Chalamet.
I'm sorry, who was that?
What's his name? Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy
Chalamet. I know that name, but I don't know.
I'm not sure I know who that is.
He was in Call Me by Your Name. He was in
Oh. Okay.
He was in Little Women. He was in yeah. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, this is kind of just come up with whatever you'd like. Deborah, what about you? Who do you think could play Credence today?
Gosh, I don't know if anyone can act that bad.
Now hold on, just a minute.
Oh, here we go. Time to bring up the corn scene.
Anybody who can do that seductive corn cob dance the way you did it with a straight face is a good actress.
Oscar.
Oscar worthy, hands down.
I'd have to say, choose any comedian. I don't know.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus. How's that?
There we go. She could be fun.
You know, that's funny because you know that our first Troll 2 that was on VHS, you know, it was with Troll, which Julie was actually in.
That's
yeah.
right. I remember you saying that now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought it was
So that's funny that you say that, but I think she'd be great. Absolutely.
Okay, George, you still with us?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Can y'all see me? Yeah.
No, well, we can't see you, but we can hear you.
Oh really? Oh bummer. Oh shoot. Let me get back to you.
Okay, there we
Am I
go.
on now?
Yeah, now you're on.
Yeah, I was trying to actually bring Michael Stevenson in and send him the link. I've got Michael's phone number. I was trying to get Michael on with us. But yeah, oh yeah, okay. Justin Timberlake definitely would be the great dad. He played a dad.
I would love to hear Justin Timberlake say, "You can't piss on
Oh,
hospitality."
he could do it.
I'm sure he could.
He'd probably have to dance while
He's
he
bringing
He could probably sing it.
hospitality back.
Yeah, we need to call him somehow.
He could probably turn it into a musical number.
Yeah.
called
Oh,
Don't
God,
Piss on
yeah.
Hospitality.
That's funny because there have been troops that have made musicals of Troll 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Several of them.
seen it, guys.
Oh.
We've been to some.
No, I was in Dallas, Jason, Darren, and Deborah, and I hit it the night I was there, and the complete stage acted total reenactment of Troll 2 musical. It was a Troll 2 musical. It was fantastic. I'll send y'all links. It was hilarious.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, I would too.
It was so good.
That link.
Oh yeah, you can send that link to us too. We will watch it.
Okay,
Absolutely.
I'll do it. I'll do it. Yeah.
That's funny because Darren and I once went to, where was it, San Diego, and they had an audience, and they were watching the movie at the same time that the troupe was acting it out on stage. Remember, Darren?
So it was like a shadow
Yeah,
cast, like a Rocky
that
Horror
was
Picture
in-
Show.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
They were
Yeah.
it was in Sacramento. It was in Sacramento, and I just can't tell you how strange and kind of awesome it is seeing another actor playing your character.
Yeah.
That's really,
You're right.
it's really wild.
Yeah.
I'll bet that is.
Did they know you guys were there?
I
Yeah,
like
did they know you were there?
Yeah. They knew. They didn't know.
yeah.
Okay. See,
So
I
pressure
would be nervous being on stage knowing that the guy who created the character I'm playing is in the audience. That would freak me out.
Yeah, it's
They were awesome.
In Sacramento, the guy really was, and he actually came up to me before the show and just said, I really hope I don't mess up. I'm like, what, are you kidding? Did you see me? There's no way you could do a worse job than I did.
Oh,
Okay.
Get up
they
there
did
and
a
have
great
fun.
job, though. It's an honor having somebody
They-
do that. It really is. And it was so fun, and fun being with Darren during that one. Yeah. Whom everyone adores.
Yes. Well, this movie is just so endearing. It really is. Like if you just embrace the insanity from the get go.
right.
It's hard for me to explain.
And I love that you guys are all still friends after all these years because
Yes.
of this movie.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, like this movie really started something that 30 years later, you guys are still friends and still communicate with each other. I mean, that's insane.
Well, this is a family. You're looking at a family. It's the Troll 2 family.
I believe. I see
We,
that.
Right.
we all know each other's friends and family, and it's a family. That's to me it is.
That was one of probably the best parts of going, to all the screenings around the nation and with Troll 2 and then with Best Worst Movie and then the Salt Lake screenings, the LA screenings, we just spent so much time together, just became such good friends, and that was probably the best part about the whole thing, really.
Yeah, and I just want to say I got in contact with Jason Wright first, and he's the one that put me in contact. I know Darren and I know George because he put me in contact, and George called me that night. He couldn't make it today, but he's the one that put me in contact with everyone. So big shout out to Jason Wright for doing that.
Yeah, he's a good guy, very good guy.
So about how long did the shoot last? I'm just curious.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
Not bad, I guess.
But yeah, but you would go shoot a couple days and then go do your dentistry during the week too, right, George?
Yeah, I would.
I'm pretty sure I remember you saying that.
Oh God. Well, I mean, I can remember I would go pick up. Y'all help me out, you guys. Margot Frey. I would go pick up Margot in the mornings, and then we would go up and drive up to Morgan, or we drive up to Heber City or Cottonwood Heights, which was close to her house, and then we go in and then that would be one day, and then I remember one morning I worked in the morning, picked her up at 1 o'clock, and we stayed till 9 o'clock that night or 10, and I go back and forth. Yeah.
That's awesome. Were there a lot of movies made in Salt Lake City, Utah area, or that's never a place that springs to my mind when I think of the film industry?
Right.
Oh yeah, it's such beautiful country, and they have very expert, Redmond and just these expert,
Well, that kind of thing is
jump in, you guys. I'm not getting
Yeah.
A lot of
Utah is a very popular location to make movies, and right now they filmed the television series Yellowstone here.
Oh, okay.
Do a lot of Disney movies, a lot of Hallmark movies. Yeah, there's a lot of production here. The crews are great, and they know what they're doing, and there's a diversity of scenery in Salt Lake and a pool of talent that makes it very appetizing for filmmakers.
Darren, I think there's a good chance I've seen you in a Hallmark movie because I take a lot of naps while my wife watches them, and I probably woke up and saw it. I'm pretty sure I've seen that.
So, George, I know you're
I'm
still
sorry,
practicing.
you're breaking up a little bit.
Okay. He was saying that Josh was saying that he's pretty sure he's seen you, Darren, in at least one Hallmark movie because that's when he liked to take his naps.
I take naps at night before work. My wife will turn to the Hallmark channel. I'm pretty sure I wake up and I just look and glance, and I think I've seen you on the screen at least once.
Oh, okay.
Darren, I know you've been in a lot of Disney films. Have you ever been in a Hallmark movie, Darren? Have you ever been in a Hallmark movie?
I just auditioned for two Hallmark movies. Yeah, I've been in two Hallmark movies, two Hallmark Christmas movies, and I just auditioned for two more.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like fingers crossed, because I need the work.
The Hallmark Christmas movies, all kind of.
Back in December when George and I were filming Sis in Baltimore, I quit my day job and decided to become an actor full time, and then the COVID-19 thing hit, and so I'm seeking employment. So if there are any filmmakers out there, call me.
There you go. And I'm excited about Sis. George actually went back last week and watched Texas Cotton.
Yeah.
With you and Blue Temple, and Tiffany Shep has popped up. So as a horror guy, I love seeing her pop up in anything.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty good. And I think that's the same director that's doing Sis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Tyler, yeah. So Tyler actually has 3 films coming out in October, November. Actually 4 that I'm in, all 4 of them coming out. But yeah, it's really kind of cool. He shot Here Comes Rusty in Mobile, Alabama in 2014. And I just did a 1-day shoot with Tyler there that has Bruce Hampton in the film. Of course, Bruce Hampton passed away, yeah, but there's some other people in the film that in Here Comes Rusty, and it's just getting released now. And then I did Texas Cotton with Tyler, and that was in November of 2016. Then I shot in Germany in another movie called Goblin 2, and I played Michael Waits.
Awesome.
You reprised your role as Michael Waits.
Yeah. 20 years later or whatever. And then
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I shot that in Baden-Baden, Germany for a week, and then Darren and I recently were able to shoot Cyst in Baltimore, which was just fantastic. So that was a great. Yeah, I play a dermatologist, a gone crazy dermatologist, kind of like between Jim Carrey in the Mask, and of course Jack Nicholson in The Shining, and Marty Feldman in Young Frankenstein. Kind of all those 3 characters mixed together in one.
Wow,
crazy scientist.
I think I heard you.
Which I work on Darren, my trusty intern. Darren's my trusty intern in the movie.
I think I heard you describe it as Dr. Pimple Popper on steroids on a different podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can ask Darren about it.
Hold on, Dr. Pimple Popper?
George does a real number on me and says,
yeah, I did. Yeah,
my kids love Dr. Pimple.
I think he enjoyed it. I think he enjoyed it a little too much.
Yeah, right. You'll see when you watch the movie.
Oh man, we'll definitely have to put that on our to-watch list.
Darren and I had I almost get emotional for you guys, Jason and Deborah, working with Darren again after 30 years. It was what Darren will describe this as well with me, how surreal that was to come back on set, with Darren. It's like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. And it was so meaningful to both of us, wasn't it, Darren, to be able to do that together? Wasn't that amazing, really?
Oh yeah, fantastic. Yeah, can't wait to do it again.
Yeah,
hopefully soon.
Yeah, it was. I mean, 30 years later, I would love to be back with Jason and Deborah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Of which we've tried so many times to do a sequel, but the language barrier, and of course now the COVID thing has been tough.
Right.
We've gotten, I don't know if Deborah and Jason Darren, but Michael and I have stayed pretty much in touch a lot with Claudio and Rosella, and she's written the script to Troll 2 Part 2. And and
That is awesome. I reached out to Claudio, but he didn't respond because I was going to try and get him on.
Oh, he's so great. They are both they are sweethearts. I just love them both. And Claudio speaks better English now. And I call Claudio every couple of months. And, I talked to him during the COVID time because they were really in quarantine there in Rome. And Rosella, Rosella, Google Translate is now better. And so we've been able to communicate better with each other through our emails and all. But they've gotten close to trying to make this happen again. And of course, she wants to bring all of us back as best she can in the sequel.
You would just about have to.
I think that's the only way.
That is the only way to do it.
The only way.
Yeah. They really want to. Yeah.
That's great. I personally would like to hear, what is your favorite story to tell from production? What was your favorite thing that happened during production?
Favorite thing that happened.
Or what is the story that you tell people over drinks? You're like, hey, you want to hear something messed up?
Darren looks like he's ready to go.
Darren, what do you got?
I really enjoyed running through the woods and tackling Christina and working with her. She was gorgeous. I drove her to set, and we just hit it off. And of course, the all Italian crew. Here she is, this beautiful young blonde lady, and so they would hold her hand, okay, you come over here and you do this, and then they turn to me, Darren, get over here. But
Awesome.
Nobody cares about that guy with the glasses. Get over here.
She was just lovely.
Oh man!
And when we wrapped, she gave me a kiss on my cheek, and that was great. We're neighbors, actually. She lives with her husband and her 2 girls just a mile away from here.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Awesome.
Wow, that's great.
So that's my favorite.
Okay, your favorite story?
Mine was kind of funny because it was the first day that we shot, and it was in the city house, and we were all there. We were downstairs when they were shooting scenes, upstairs and everything. And they actually shot that day the last scene where they're eating mom. And I remember me and Dave McConnell, and Dave McConnell was a friend of mine. We'd done stuff in high school together. He played the other one of the 4 of them.
Right. I reached out to him too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were sitting there behind the wall watching that scene as they were filming it. And we hadn't filmed any scenes or anything yet. And I remember we looked at each other and we're like, I sure hope that looks more realistic on camera than it does.
It did.
That does not look realistic. And then that day we kind of got a little bit of a clue what we were getting into.
Oh my God, that's great. Deborah, what about you?
Oh gosh, so many. A lot of it was hard. I mean, it was so fun working with my little flower, Darren, in that pot. But I felt so sorry for him because I knew he was miserable. But that was, I enjoyed that. It was really interesting. I mean, a lot of the stuff was kind of difficult. And it's funny, I remember though in that scene when they had to literally put that huge chainsaw into my arms. I couldn't pick it up. It was so heavy. And, but gosh, it was just fun being in that atmosphere and watching how ridiculous. I got a kick of how ridiculous it all was and how campy because I enjoy that. So I kind of thought that was fun, and but I, of course, never realized it was going to be bad enough to reach the badness heights that it did.
The depth of
letting it go like that, being able to,
George, what about you?
Definitely the stair scenes where I'm going down the steps and the goblins are they're 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 jumping on my back and I'm doing all the fighting and then kick them down the steps and all that and just watching the stunts happen that. But yeah, because we did that scene up and down the steps. I don't know how many times. Now my knees couldn't take it, but I don't know how we did that. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Put that one on the screen. Seems like a lot.
I have another comment from Zhuang, I guess. This seems like a lot of the cast is pretty tight. I wonder if they were reunited in a sense around the time of the documentary came out, or if they've always kept in touch. So have you guys just always stayed in touch, or was it the documentary the best worst movie, or the worst movie? Was
It was long before that when we first had our big first screening in New York. That was a big first screening in New York at Upright Citizens Brigade Theater, and that's when we all saw each other again after, I think it was at the time 17 years. And then when they were filming Best Worst Movie, and when we were going around to the screenings in that nation and that's when we just really became, friends again, family again. But it's been about 16 or 17 years before we've even really seen each other.
Oh, okay.
But did you keep in touch during that time, or did you just kind of I worked with these people once?
Yeah, we didn't.
Brought him back, yeah.
Yeah.
The screening brought him back. That's all.
I kept in touch with everybody.
No.
Did you?
Yeah.
The documentary?
Well, when the documentary came about, Deborah and I had met at a screening, the very, very first screening. I think Darren was there and Deborah. I don't think, Jason, you were there, but it's in Provo, Utah.
I was there, yeah.
You were there, yes.
Yeah.
And so Deborah goes, George, there's a huge underground cult with this thing going on. And we all got tackled that night, unaware that, BYU students were lined up for all of our autographs. And I think all of us were pretty much shocked that night. And then Deborah says, hey, we should make a doc around this. And I said, yeah, we should. And so Michael Stevenson, who played my son in Troll 2, was not there. And then from that, we all started exchanging addresses. And Michael said, I flew out to Los Angeles to meet Michael. And he says, George, he had stayed in the business pretty much. And so why don't we make a documentary? I think Deborah was considering it. So we got friends and family together and organically made Best Worst Movie. And I kind of we had some mavens out there helping us gather the addresses of there were 17 of us, I think. And then we got Claudia and Rosella involved again. And oh my gosh, what an incredible story for all of us to be able to have had that happen again in our lives. And then we spent, Michael and I spent about 3 years from 20, really it was April the 11th, 2006, that I got the invite. I got a phone call from a guy from Furman, and he was writing a radio documentary. And I went, oh my God! He says, you don't believe me? Go to IMDb. And I did. I didn't even know what that meant. And scroll down the bottom, it said Troll 2 cast reunion in Provo, Utah, April the 11th. 2 days later. And I just stumbled across the April 11th date. It just out of the universe. 2 days later in Provo. So I spent $710, I remember. Put it on my credit card, and I flew out and got there late and walked in this dark room, and there were my best buddies right behind me, all of us sitting together. And the lights came on, and that was, and I had never even watched Troll 2 in its entirety. And from that is kind of history, and the fact that what happened with Best Worst Movie. And Michael and I organically put together the doc, which went to 28 cities and 7 countries, and we had friends and family support us. And then we brought Darren and Jason and Deborah into the pictures, and we just started really all of us have stayed in touch with each other pretty much. And here and there, Deborah and I, it's so good to see here today. But and then Darren, of course, came back in, and Jason's. I mean, it's like we're all blood brothers and sisters, you know.
Yeah, and you guys had this amazing experience that you all have shared together. What was your reaction when you found out that this movie had the cult following that it had?
I was the same way. I was blown away. I'm not sure exactly how I heard about the IMDb message boards out there.
Uh-huh.
But I just went out there and I was just blown away how many people were talking about it. And I think Aaron was already out there talking to the fans, and then I jumped out and like, oh my gosh, Jason's coming back. Like, what in the world is going on? And it was interesting because my friends and I, we had like trophy screenings over the years. We thought it was hilarious. So we always did that. And then to see that that was happening in the nation and the world as well, it blew my mind. And then going to the screenings like in Provo in New York, just unbelievable when people are taking pictures with you and like you're signing autographs and just it was like this surreal experience. And then that was kind of our lives for the next 5 or 6 years, really.
That's incredible.
Yeah, people bow down to you. I mean, it's the funniest and cutest thing. It's adorable. You know, they are the sweetest. Our fans in general are the sweetest people, and they come from all walks of life. Just very, you know, diverse and amazing and beautiful. And it's really, really fun. It's been an amazing experience. And these guys here, though, they are the greatest guys. I'll tell you what, they're so loving and sweet. And it's an honor to be their friend, you know.
That's great. Oh, and Deborah, I just had to make this point. Watching this movie, the most impressive, the most amazing thing about it, I think, was whoever did your makeup for this film. Because Credence goes through so many different transformations in this movie. Like, at times where she doesn't look like a fake person. Your makeup was awesome.
Well, she did a great job, and it was, you know, I'll tell you something funny. It's nothing like Darren, but it did take hours to get that makeup on me. Mm-hmm. And then I would go home at night wearing it. And I remember going to the grocery store and everybody, you know, staring at me. And the funniest story is the last day of shooting, I was driving home and I got into an accident. I was behind this little slow thing with blinking lights in front of me, and I ended up upside down in a ditch. And I remember the guy running over to me, and I was pulling myself up. And he saw my face and started screaming his head off. I'll call an ambulance. You know.
Yeah, if I saw someone who looked like that getting out of a wrecked car, I'd probably think, yeah, they're not long for this world.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Yeah, she was a well-known makeup artist. It was pretty fun. Anyway, in Italy. Yeah.
Okay. That is great.
Also, how many times did you watch that Corn on the Cob?
Oh God, I probably watched that scene about 3 times. Like, I watched it once while I was watching the movie. I had to pause the movie. I was laughing so hard. The music, the dancing, the making the corn on the cob or making the popcorn. I had to watch that movie. I had to watch that scene about 3 times. It was so funny.
And as an 8-year-old kid, that's how I thought popcorn was made after that scene. So,
here I thought we used the microwave.
You know, they had some special get-up popcorn maker, and I was with this poor, sweet young kid, and the popcorn maker broke in the middle of the scene, and we had to halt everything until it.
I'm sure he didn't mind. I'm sure he didn't mind multiple shoots of that scene.
I don't know. Very uncomfortable. Anyway, but it was pretty.
The rest of us were a little jealous. I can tell you that.
I can see that.
Yeah, I really, going into that, I had no idea really how that was going to come off. So it was a surprise to me too. So.
I was surprised with how as goofy as the movie was, it had a very dark ending. Like I was expecting that to be another dream sequence, but it ended up not being one. And, like when you were making the movie, did you think, okay, this is going to be a horror? No, it's going to be a comedy. What did you think? Like, I guess you'd all read the script by that point.
No, they had not.
Oh, you hadn't?
Right? You guys weren't given like a full script or anything, if I read it correctly.
No, we were. It was just hard to decipher.
I
what it
was.
meant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With the broken English.
Well, we just couldn't figure it out. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of as we went. Yeah.
When the first time I read the script, I was just, this is really odd.
But I need work.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it was my first feature film, but I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do it, and hopefully we'll see what happens. But I just remember reading the script and like going, yeah, that's kind of odd. And then that first day of shooting that I talked about, I was like, okay, what have I got myself into? It was fun.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Yeah.
it was.
I mean, this film definitely has a level of charm to it that like you won't see in like a giant blockbuster Disney or Marvel movie like we've got today. Like these are people who just wanted to make a movie and they did it. They didn't care how insane it was, or I mean, I can respect that wholeheartedly. I can respect that more than I can respect another CGI giant summer blockbuster.
Absolutely, and that's why
The thing that it comes up in best worst movie that a lot of people say is that the film just has a lot of heart. It has some authenticity. I mean, we were actually trying to make a good movie, and Film Mirage is very capable, very professional. They know how to make a movie. And so we were all just trying to do our level best, and I think it's because it turned out so bad, despite our best efforts. Is something I think failure is a commonality that we all share. So I love bad movies and I love campy cinema. So I don't even think it's a bad movie necessarily.
I don't either.
It certainly hasn't been for me.
Yeah, that's the big topic of discussion.
It's strange.
Yeah, it's been taught in film schools and things like that because it challenges the notion, what is a bad movie? I mean, if you are watching a movie and you laugh your head off and you're just so enjoyable and so funny and so quirky the whole time. I mean, studios put millions and millions of dollars into Adam Sandler movies and all these movies that are just trying so hard to be funny and they flop.
Mm-hmm.
And ours is just hilarious. And so it's not, if you laugh through the whole thing and enjoy the whole thing, it's not a bad movie,
No,
so,
absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, through the years, I've gotten messages from people that said it saved them, actually. It was their go-to, and it would brighten their day when they're going through hard times. It's amazing, truly. And it's really been a blessing in my life, just all of the good things that have come out of it. And, and it brings people together. And through the years, people throw Troll 2 parties every year. They get together, they throw popcorn and eat green food and have so much fun. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I'd hate to clean up after a Troll 2 party.
Yeah, you need a massive vacuum cleaner. But yeah, you can just cook all regular food and put green frosting on top of it. Hey, it's Troll food.
We still do it with our friends every October. We actually do the drinking game. There's a lot of drinking games out there, Troll 2 drinking games. And so we last year we put this big poster of when you drink, and honestly, within 20 minutes we were all drunk because so many drinking cues. But no, we every October we do a big one with my friends, and there's always 5 or 10 people have never seen it, so it's like exciting, for them to experience it. So
we're gonna have to look that up. Troll 2 drinking party.
Oh yeah,
drinking games
out there. Yeah, look up Troll 2 drinking games. They're out there for sure.
That's incredible. Oh man. So I don't know. You have any other questions?
Yeah. When all this is over and quarantine's over, do you guys ever hit the horror cons? Because I know in Best Worst Movie, George Hardy didn't. You did not like the horror con, which disappoints me. I love horror con.
I think I was the Derek thing. Yeah, I think I was just exhausted. I didn't get any sleep the night before. I think I was just tired. But I think it's different now. I've been to a few more, and in fact, Michael and I met Claudio and Rosella about a year or two ago at the same horror convention in Dallas, at Fright Fest or something, and it was a whole different feeling that going there then. It was a lot of fun to do it. So I do. And then I just did another horror film, but it's so interesting to hear all of us talking about the movie, and it's all four of us, and really any of the cast that were a part of making Best Worst Movie, we all know and own what it's like to have been in a movie that's so bad it's good. And we all know now, like what Deborah was saying is so true. I was resonating with that, Deborah, because and I think I was trying to feel why I was getting emotional with Darren, being able to work with him again. And I thought to myself, wow, we've all four been through so many deep experiences with this film and how it's changed our lives as well. I mean, it has tremendously changed my life. And I've been to Dubai, even to Dubai with Michael to work with NYU, the students over there, film students, like Jason said. But we know how this movie has touched so many of the fans' lives. And like Deborah said, it's changed so many people. And I've got the president of Mrs. Renfro's Salsa, one of my good friend. He sends me salsa all the time. He's a huge fan of Troll 2, all the way to a guy that's written a pet owner's book, or just students and all kinds of people from all walks of life, like Deborah said, but how it's touched their lives and really how it's touched ours. And I don't know, I think it's all about this sense of humor and I don't know what it is, you guys. Maybe y'all can help tap into that with me. But here I am back in Alabama, got my southern accent back, and it's home for me. But I don't know. This changed my life, as I know it has for you guys. I don't know if y'all want to add how it just brought me a lot more love, not only to the world of the people that love Troll 2, but also to respect Claudio and respect Rosella as filmmakers, and then to work with these other actors that just winged it and just threw themselves into something and had the courage to do this. And even myself, we all jumped into deep water not knowing what we were doing. Like Darren said, we were all just trying to make a good film, and it just happened to us. And I don't know if you guys want to add into that, but it was profound for me, and it still is to this day. Here we are 30 years later, this to be able to share with each other like this.
Yeah.
What about you guys, Darren or Jason, Deborah? You guys,
I agree completely. I mean,
I agree.
It's been such a blessing.
What George said
in my life, totally. I mean,
just pull the ghost, ditto.
Like just to have the experiences that we were able to have, and to be able to travel with it, and to meet fans, and just all the stuff there, and then come closer, as. I mean, it completely changed my life, and to this day, I still meet Troll 2 fans, like probably monthly, it comes up in conversations and that. They're like, I love Troll 2. And then, it's just like, cool, I was in it, but it's just, that nugget of time, that 5 or 6 years or so when we traveled with it, will just always be just this special capsule of time that we had, just living the life of like a famous actor, and just like in news, magazine interviews and news interviews and just radio interviews, and just like screenings and fan mail, and just like who gets to do that? You know what I mean? It's for being in this crazy movie. So it's been amazing, so amazing.
Well, we know Darren agrees with George. What about you, Deborah?
Well, absolutely. As I was saying, it's been turned into a blessing and has been for a long time. And I've had fun with, um, you know, the fans for many, many years, you know, on our Facebook pages. I think I don't know if George has a dedicated, I think, fan page. I do. It's a Troll 2 Queen is how you can find it. And as well as on my personal page. But, you know, people are so loving and sweet. And I have fun with them. They like it when I act as their queen, you know, and put me in the language of, you know, as my minions or my, you know, it's hilarious. It's really fun. And on Twitter as well, or just wherever. It's just been delightful. And as well as being with these guys, I didn't have the opportunity. I was producing a TV show at the time and didn't get to really go with the guys and be there for the Best Worst Movie. I was able to do some at the very, in the 12th hour, you know, and did some fun things. I sat in George's dentist chair. And that was fun. Now there's a little clip on that, but most of what my part was in a Q&A thing, but that's just on the DVD. I think it's not included because I was in there too late to actually get involved. So, but it's a great Best Worst Movie, and watching them it's amazing. It's really fun to see. But yeah, we've made other people's lives that they tell us. We've made them laugh. We've made them cry. And so what could be more fun than that? You know,
we've got a pretty interesting comment here. I'm going to read it because it's a long one. But Grail Dove says, Dangerous Person asked a question earlier. Dangerous Person and I have been dating for 2 years. When we met, it was because of Troll 2. We've made all sorts of Troll 2 gifts and cards for one another for anniversaries and special occasions. This is a long shot, but we were wondering if any one of you would be interested in officiating a wedding in the coming years. No sweat if not. We thought it was worth a shot. We love the movie, and we're thankful that it exists.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
There we go. Put that on the screen.
Okay. It's a big one. That is pretty awesome, Grail Dove. Oh, man. A Troll 2 themed wedding.
Sorry, the audio is breaking up.
I'm sorry. I'll put that up so you can read it.
I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You heard it here, Grill Dove. Darren's in.
There you go. Darren's in. Definitely.
Yeah,
that is so cool.
I'll get my license. Sure.
Yeah, you just do what you want.
I'll start it out with marriage. Today. A good movie for a change.
well, that'll be fun to see. It'll have to be on YouTube.
So yes to that commenter.
And here, let's see. Yeah, Grail Dove says, "Holy shit, thank you so much." And Dwang says, "I now pronounce you husband and wife." Oh my god!
Perfect.
I might have to fly out to wherever that wedding is just to say I got to see it, just to be a witness.
Right, that would be awesome.
Oh man, we're glad we were able to make that happen for you, Grail Dove. That's great.
Absolutely, this is awesome.
This is amazing. Oh my god.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Grail Dove says we will fly to you wherever you are. So you're all still in Salt Lake City area, or except for George. We know he's in Alabama.
Yeah.
Well, this has been an absolute pleasure.
It really has.
Such an honor to get to talk to you guys. For you to take time to talk to us.
I'm game for anything, right? You know, at this point in my life, like both of my daughters are grown up and ruling the world, and I'm single, and so you know, if it sounds like a good time, I'm gonna do it.
We really appreciate that. Do you guys all? I mean, we know Deborah has a Facebook and Twitter. Do any of you also have social media accounts that people can follow that you like to interact with fans on?
I'm on Facebook, Jason Stedman Eve, and then my Instagram is JRockSteady.
J Rocksteady. Okay.
JRockSteady, and those are the two that I'm on.
Okay. Darren, what about you?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Both of them just under Ewing Darren, I think.
Okay.
And I during the shutdown when I was quarantined, I got onto TikTok and I got back on Twitter and realized that I'm not really interested. So I'm on those, but I don't. I'm on Facebook for the most part. Facebook and Instagram.
No, we don't blame you for not being into TikTok. I just don't understand that at all. That's one of those things I'm like, please stop. Just let it stop. I know it's not going to, unfortunately. George, you're on Twitter, aren't you?
I think I'm too old.
No,
I just didn't get it.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook and Instagram like Darren. Just George
Okay,
Hardy
Facebook
Official.
and Instagram.
Yeah, George Hardy Official on Instagram, and then Facebook is my name. Just me. Yeah.
Okay. And of course, you can always follow us. We are Cinematic Blind Spots on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and now on YouTube. We will hopefully be streaming more there in the future.
And on Twitch.
And on Twitch, we can stream on Twitch too. Why not? But thank you, all of you. This has been such a pleasure. We really appreciate it. Best of luck in all of your future endeavors. Darren, I hope you hear back from your casting director or from your agent for the roles that you said you were auditioning for. But thank you so much. We're going to end our broadcast now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for everybody.
Bye, guys. I'll call you.
All right. We're looking forward to it.
Okay, we'll see you. Bye.
All
Love
right.
you
Thank
all.
Bye. Bye.